How you doing, folks? I'm just going to do a quick introductory video because we've got a grey day in Ireland here, and that means I can finally see the RF meter properly on the video. So it might be a good time to do a quick little introductory video on what we're actually doing on this channel, and a kind of a quick guide to make sense of what we do. So basically what we're doing here in Ireland is we're driving around, and what we're doing here is we're measuring radio frequency radiation. The sort of radiation you get from mobile phones, Wi-Fi, all this kind of carry on. Now, the meter we're using for this, for the moment anyway, because I think it's one of the easier ones to see in a video. We're using a little tri-field TF2 model. It's a little consumer grade model. It's a pretty good little meter. Not madly accurate, but we're only looking at ballpark figures at the moment. Let me just move that over there a wee bit. Okay, so when we're driving around Ireland, we're going to go through towns and cities and stuff, and we're going to be seeing what sort of readings we can expect, what sort of readings we get actually in various areas. So at the moment, because we're just doing a little intro video here, you can see it's very quiet. Okay, so what are these numbers? So there's two main numbers here. This main one down the bottom is our field reading. So it's what levels of RF radiation is the meter reading at this exact moment in time. And this figure up here is the peak reading. So what this reading is the largest reading we've had in, say, whatever it is, the last 3 or 4 seconds, I think, before it resets itself again. So, field readings and peak readings. Okay? The unit of measurement we use when we're measuring RF radiation, well, there's lots of measurements, but the one we'll stick with is microwatts per square meter. And that is what is indicated down here in this bottom row. There's actually a decimal point, it's milliwatts. Don't worry about any of that. Whatever the figure down here, so that's 5 milliwatts. Sorry, sorry, that's 5 microwatts per square meter. And the peak's 31 microwatts, so now it's down to 10, 15 per square meter. So those are the measurements. RF radiation measured in microwatts per square meter in various locations around Ireland. We are currently in Donegal, and we're just about to go through Barnesmore Gap, so we're not, obviously we expect minimal readings really, because it's not built up. It should be a quiet spot for RF. So just figured it was a good spot to explain what we're doing in these videos, so we don't have to go back and explain, because I tend to be doing this at the start of every video, kind of explaining this, and I figured if we just could do this once here in a kind of an intro video, we'll stick at the top maybe on the YouTube page, and then I could stop having to do that. I could just go through the town, give the reading, and you should be able to make sense of it. The one other thing, the one other important point at this stage of the game, there's a very basic understanding of the whole thing, is we can see the figures up here. We can see, alright, we've got 8 microwatts, 7 microwatts, whatever, per square meter. What does that mean? But, is that a good number? Is that a bad number? What number do things, what number can we get to before it's dangerous? Stuff like that. The short answer to that is that opinion is largely split. So for example, on the extreme end of the safe end of things, the Bio-Initiative report, which I encourage you to go and investigate yourself, it's basically a summary of 4,000 scientific studies on the detrimental health effects of RF radiation. The Bitchute report is actually a summary report of those 4,000 reports, so it's a very good starting point. And they quote a precautionary level of 3 to 6 microwatts per square meter. 3 to 6. So you can see even here now we're well over. Building Biology Group in Germany, they're probably the next, if you like, lowest safe level, if that makes sense. They quote 10 microwatts per square meter. That's the maximum level that's allowed to be, that that's the maximum level of RF radiation before detrimental health effects begin to occur in the human body. Italy, we'll skip forward to kind of a European nation. Italy has levels of, their maximum level is 1,000 microwatts per square meter. And actually they reduced that. It used to be 100,000. I think it was in '99, and several years later they revised that figure and they went to 100,000. It's way too high. We're going to drop that down to 1,000. So they reduced it by a factor of 100. You know. So you have to kind of ask yourself what information are they working off that the Irish government isn't. But anyway. Getting to, so 3 to 6 for bioinitiative, 10 for building biology, 1,000 for Italy. I'm pretty sure Russia and China are both at the initial Italy levels of 100,000. So that just gives you an idea of the variation there is here in terms of what level can you of RF radiation can you expose the body to before detrimental health effects occur. So I've mentioned a few there, Italy and Russia and China and a few other organizations. I guess if you like, probably from an Irish perspective, the most important figure is what is the Irish number. So the Irish number, just very quickly and briefly explain how we got to it. An international organization called the International Commission for Non-Ionizing Radiation Protection, ICNIRP or ICNIRP, as some people call them. They are largely made up from industry personnel. Let's not get into that from who they actually are. But their international guidelines for safe levels of RF radiation were adopted by the European Union, and therefore Ireland adopted those figures. So Ireland is working off the ICNIRP ICNIRP figures. And the one other piece of information to give you just before I give you the number is that the number, so the limit of RF radiation in Ireland was set in 1998. So over 20 years ago. Think of how much more mobile phones, Wi-Fi, etc. we have in the last 20 years, and we're still going off the old figures. So what are the figures? And they can get a little bit complicated because they split up over various frequency ranges and all the rest of it, but the lowest number, the lowest RF radiation guideline figure in Ireland today, bearing in mind that Italy's 1,000, Russia and China are 100,000. The number in Ireland is 2 million. 2 million. 2 million microwatts per square meter is the lowest level at which the Irish figures go, oh, right, well, this is, we might need to start thinking about something here. Like 2,000 times more than Italy. What's that all about? But anyway, the figure for Ireland is 2 million. The figure for Italy is 1,000. You're going to have to employ some critical thinking there and think, who is it you want to start to listen to here? Anyway, that is it. I just want to do a brief introduction. What's going on here? We're measuring RF radiation in microwatts per square meter. This is our field readings, this is our peak readings, and any town and city we go through, we're going to have to go through this whole rigmarole now, and we just can take the readings, keep the videos nice and short. So like say, I think we're going to do one in Sligo coming up a wee bit. So say, hopefully, if you're living in Sligo, you should be able to look at that and go, alright, and have an idea of what sort of levels are in your city or town. I think that will do it, folks. Thanks very much for listening.